Hi, I'm Jojo White, and I am the founder of a nonprofit corporation called Clear Rounds for Clean Water. We raise money at horse shows. Hopefully, we're going to start doing this all across the country. Right now, we are simply in Texas, and all of our money goes to Rotary water projects through also a foundation part of Rotary that's called WashRag, which stands for
the Water and Sanitation Rotary Action Group.
Action Groups. And I would like to introduce my good friend, Dr. Jeremy Penner, who is here visiting with us today. Now, Jeremy is involved in a project in Remba Island, Kenya. And Clear Rounds for Clean Water wants to focus our majority fundraising towards Jeremy's project in Remba Island this year. We have a horse show in September that is called the Texas Rose Classic. It is September 14th through 18th at the Texas Rose Horse Park in Tyler, Texas. So I want everybody who's followers of ours, who are sponsors of ours, to really take this opportunity to talk with Jeremy, because he was in town for the New Orleans Rotary Convention and the World Water Summit that we both went to. And I thought this was a great opportunity to kind of get you cornered and have you tell us a little bit about Remba, what we're going to strive for as far as water, and what kind of things we need and what kind of impact we can make with that personally. So just tell me a little bit about, where is Remba, first of all?
So Remba Island, it's in Kenya, in Lake Victoria. Lake Victoria is the second largest freshwater lake in the world, and ironically, none of it's good for drinking unless it's treated. So there's this tiny island off the coast of Kenya in Lake Victoria, which is basically a flat rock, which has anywhere between 5,000 and 10,000 people living on it.
Now, the population in Remba changes, doesn't it? At certain times, there's only about 4,000 or 5,000, and then it really swells to how many?
Right now, it's at its highest that it's been probably ever. It's about 10,000 people right now. It changes a lot depending on where the fish are in the lake, and also the fishing season. At some points, the fish are the fishing is closed. So people will go back to their rural homes to farm or go to other places on the lake. And some people will be there for a day or two, some people will be there for months or even years. But the thing about Remba is no one really considers it their home, which makes it a challenging place for these types of projects. People are always there just for work, and if they have extra money, then they'll invest it back in their rural homes.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about when you were talking about you come across maybe once a week or twice a week in a boat, and that up until the point where you had a structure that was you were able to build through donations for some people in Texas, that you were setting up just all sorts of different places just to kind of make it a makeshift mobile hospital. Tell a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when I first moved to Kenya, it was really to help run an HIV program called FACES, which stands for Family AIDS Care and Education Services, and that was funded actually by one of President Bush's initiatives called the President's Emerging Plan for AIDS Relief. Through the University of California. And our job has really been to help make HIV services accessible in the rural areas where people can't get HIV prevention or treatment. And so Remba Island has very high rates of HIV, and was one of the priorities that the government identified where they needed help. And it doesn't have any health facility at all, or it didn't at that time. So we would go once a week, or we still go once a week for a mobile clinic. And we just have to use whatever building we could find. So at one point we were using a hotel, and the hotels in
yeah, it's
Remba,
not our idea of a hotel, is it?
Yeah, basically every structure on Remba is made out of iron sheeting, so they're just these plain iron sheeting walls without any wall boards or anything like that, and very small rooms. The hotel room basically just has enough room for a bed and you can't even open the door all the way most of the time because there's not enough room.
Oh, gosh.
So we'd use the hotel room for our clinics. We'd each take a different room, and the bed would be the exam couch, and then at the end of the day we'd have them change the sheets, and then that's where we'd sleep for the night. So
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. Yeah. What I think is kind of neat about the Remba Island project that you and I have been talking about is the fact that Clearance for Clean Water is going to come in and do some of this because we want to make the water source sustainable. And we're going to kind of get a 2-for-1 in this, which I think is real exciting about funding a project, because we're going to be able to get the water there and have it sustainable, which I want you to explain. But at the same time, when you get that, immediately you have the structure, and then that will encourage the healthcare facilities to be there on a permanent basis.
Right.
So that's why we're really excited. And then that's for some of the HIV problems, the malaria, the vaccination for these children. So it's almost like we're getting, like I said, again, this 2-for-1 bang for our buck that I'm real excited about. So explain a little bit about how they're going to go about with this water kiosk, which, by the way, I'm real excited about the fact it's solar.
Right.
So talk about that.
Yeah, so LifeStraw was really what we considered an interim or temporary solution while we developed and designed what would be long-term and sustainable, and also raised the money for it. And so now in January of this year, a team of technical experts who are Rotarians, water and sanitation experts, came to Remba and spent a few days on the island doing an assessment and then designing what would really work for that population. We also had a long consultation process with the community about what would be the best solution, and that came out of the evaluation of LifeStraw. We met with them and to hear their experiences and what they thought we should do going forward, and they really did notice the value of LifeStraw. They could say that fewer people were getting diarrhea when they had access to clean water. Children weren't dying from diarrhea anymore, and they were able to attend school. People weren't missing work because of diarrhea. This is a place that had the highest rates of diarrhea that I've ever seen, actually. And so they noticed the impact, and they wanted more clean water. The problem was people were going on and off the island so frequently that new people who came didn't have access to clean water because they didn't have the LifeStraws, and then when people would leave, they would take them with them. So what the community thought would be the best solution, and it matched with what the Rotary experts thought, is using a solar pump to a central water treatment. Actually, what the community thought would be the best solution was some type of central water source or treated water, so they could just go to a tap, pay a little bit of money, and get clean water. For
the whole community?
Right, and so anyone could do it, whether they've just come to the island for a day or whether they've lived there for 10 years. They just use a tap and they pay based on how much they get. And that matched really well with what the water experts from Rotary thought would be a good solution. And so what we're looking at now is having a solar-powered pump, which will bring all the water to a central tank where it will be treated. And then it will go to several kiosks in the main, the most densely populated areas of the island. And a kiosk has 4 taps, basically, and a water meter. And people will just take the water as they need it and pay a very small amount of money.
Okay, now it is a small amount of money, because you're talking about people who don't have any money, really.
Yeah.
So,
and it's about 2 or 3 cents for a 5-gallon jerry can of water.
Oh, all right, yeah.
And we haven't set the price yet because the community will come up with that, but that's what they've suggested.
No, aren't other people looking at this kind of a situation as an example of what can be done in smaller communities like this? Aren't we kind of getting involved on the ground level of kind of a pilot project that's going to be looked at by other people?
Right. WASRAC, which is the Water and Sanitation Rotarian Action Group, is really keen on this project. They think that this might be something that can be replicated in other places, and we're going to have a good evaluation framework so we can actually measure what works and what doesn't, and how it can be replicated in other places. So Rotary's also excited about it, and we've already got 10 Rotary clubs that are going to be helping support the island, the project, along with Clear Rounds for Clean Water. And I'm not a water expert, so we still need those other expertise, and that's why WASREG fits in so well, because they have water sanitation experts all over the world. So where we have those gaps, they'll send people in who are completely pay for their own trips. They're volunteers, but they're experts, and they'll help us come up with the solution. They'll design the plans, and we'll have engineering drawings of what's going to work, and then we just need to implement it.
Even in your own communities, I know Ron Denham, who is the president, I think, of WASREG this year, was talking about little small events that can even happen at grade schools and junior highs and even high schools and colleges, and that's Walk for Water, where he gave the example of filling one of those 4 or 5 gallon jerry cans that weigh about 40 pounds, I think, putting it on your head and seeing if you can walk a 2 mile, the 3 mile, you know, getting some of the sponsorships, whether it's $1 or $2 for something like that, and getting people involved and thinking, can you imagine doing this 6 hours a day just to have water for that day, and then beginning and doing it all over again. Yeah, and you know, that's what your kids are doing. That's what the kids are doing. That's what the women are doing. Yeah, it's tremendous. It's unbelievable. But those were some of the little bitty things that community, if you want to get your group or your brownie troop or, you know, just somebody else involved. Yeah, so I thought he had some really good ideas about this too. And I'm going to try to follow up with some of these things on our website.
That would be great.
And with Clear Rounds for Clean Water.
Yeah, posting ideas and resources for
and people's successes. I want people to interact back with us too, because I know you look at those blogs all the time and get back and watch people's reactions to things and stuff like that. When you get, now that you've got really good internet access there, and Jeremy can answer questions, I think, directly too. That came in, if they came in through our blogs or questions through our website at clearroundsforcleanwater.org.
Yeah.
So, and you're going to keep us updated with news and video clips and pictures and updates and all sorts of things on how this project is going.
Yeah, this project's moving forward, and so we'll be documenting all of it and sending it, and also wanting to hear what people think about it when they see this.
Yeah, and that's going to be neat. You get to continue on going and building that community, really from the ground up. And I'm going to try to keep going out and building this community, which is really just out. I don't actually know where it is because I really don't understand it yet.
Right.
I guess it's all out there in cyberspace someplace. I don't really understand how it works. But I'll try to build this community with all of my help and all the people who are involved with Clear Rounds for Clean Water. And you can go back with our blessing and hopefully soon some good proceeds and things from some of the things we're doing here, and build your community from the ground up to make it safe for kids and the children and the families that really need our help.
Yeah.
Thank you again so much.
Thank you.
It was great to spend time with you at the Water Summit and in New Orleans, and it was wonderful. And for giving us some time here. I appreciate it a great deal.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Yeah, and we'll hopefully do some great things. One of the things that I want to express again is that we have a major horse show coming up in September of this year, the 14th through the 18th. It's the Texas Rose Classic in Tyler, Texas, at the beautiful Texas Rose Horse Park. And it's an aid show. It's beautiful. It's 5-6 days of rolling hills. It's a beautiful area. I hope someday that you can come out and see it while you're here.
Yeah.
And please join us for 2 or 3 ringside events. We will be there. We're going to have silent auctions with all sorts of things that are donated from friends of yours, from friends of mine that are people who are all over the world, because riders and equestrians get around too, and these things, they're important to them. So we're hoping to have some great fundraising events.